What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another selection from Mikey's collection. And in that regard, I wanted to wish you once again a major happy birthday, an awesome weekend, and good times beyond. And this is a tune by Queens of the Stone Age, which is further to say a band I've not yet reacted to. I am familiar with them by reputation, and I think a long time ago there was an NHL hockey game, the EA Sports franchise, and I want to say this is like mid-2000s, like 04, 05, 06, somewhere in there, that used one of their tracks as like a part of the soundtrack, and I think it was actually a tune that was like the marquee track that played during the opening credit, like title screen intro. So maybe I'm not remembering that right. Either way, it is a band name I know through reputation. It's possible I may have heard one or two of their songs outside of that one tune, I think, that was used in an NHL hockey game. But yeah, I don't recognize this one by the title at the very least. And yeah, I don't know much about them. I believe they've had an evolving membership over time. The only name I know for certain associated with them is Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters guy. I don't think he was a founding member, and I don't think he's in the band anymore. And I don't know whether he was a member at the time of the recording of this song. So yes, I know very little about them, but I understand they are a significant group that has, been in the, radio play and I think MTV music video play and so on. In any case, the track is called The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, which I enjoy the phrase. Obviously, a secret can be one you hold entirely by yourself, and those are a certain type of secret. There are other secrets which are shared among a select group of people, and in those cases, there is the question of, how long will it stay just to that particular group, and sometimes you want to share a secret because sometimes sharing something or passing information along to someone else can be cathartic. It can allow you to get feedback or a different perspective on something. But of course, secrets by their very nature are pieces of information or realities that are meant to be kept from some others for reasons that can vary a great deal. But yes, I am curious about the title phrase. Mikey did mention he has some thoughts on the interpretation here. I'll talk about them afterward, but I'll just kind of let the song wash over me and see what my brain interprets. Let's give it a listen. This is Queens of the Stone Age. The song is The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, and it is a lucky dip of sorts from Mikey's collection.
Out on
throughout the track it has a real like heavy alternative vibe, but the end was especially wicked and intense, which I very much enjoy. And yeah, the guitars, I don't know if that's like distorted guitar. I don't like have a clear sense of exactly, whether certain guitar lines are just like heavy chords or if there's actually, distortion, whether through a pedal or, some effect. But I feel like those have to be distorted guitars. But yeah, okay, so lyrically, at first it was like he has a secret all to himself, and then almost like by the time you get to the first chorus, it's like he's told someone, and he's then saying like, don't tell anybody else, which again is the thing with secrets, right? It can be a release to share information with someone, but then there's immediately the question of like, how will they respond? And secondarily, can I trust them to not then tell other people? If, you don't intend it to become this, game of telephone, but you might still want to take a leap of faith and share it with someone, because that might provide you at least some relief or some sense of, shared experience or, shared understanding. So, yeah, I don't quite know if there is like that narrative that at first the narrator's keeping it just to himself and then dares to tell it to someone, but then immediately has this wonder of like, can you keep that just to you? But yeah, so the idea of wanting a piece of information to be shielded from general knowledge, and of course the idea that maybe that piece of information will cause difficulties for yourself and so on. Now again, Mikey mentioned to me that he sees this song through the lens of the LGBT community and the idea of not necessarily wanting that information, or that perspective, which is of course a very personal piece of information, and not, number one, in relation to society more broadly, number two, in relation to people in your own life, whether that's, familial, social, and so on. The idea of that information maybe having a, what's the right word? The context where there might be difficulties that come about if the wrong people, or if people who are not sympathetic or hostile, find out that information, or indeed society itself, which, might not be as judgmental or inhospitable as, a century or two ago. It's certainly not at a point where you can say, oh, well, there's no reason to hang on to that information, to that personal information, without worrying about, what might happen if certain people know it. So yeah, like I didn't catch enough of the lyrics here to get a sense of like the nuances of this secret or what it might mean, but that interpretation surely makes sense to me. And the idea again of like, look, I'm going to tell you because this is important to me and this is about who I am, but I don't want you to just go say that to everybody, because that's, this information isn't for them, or it's not something that I feel comfortable just being, completely open with, in a world where that may bring difficulties, that may bring prejudice, bigotry, and or problems. So yeah, I definitely can see that line of interpretation. As for my first listening, I didn't catch enough of the lyrics, in part because, again, it's got this big kind of edgy alternative sound, and sometimes a track in that vein, I am noticing the heavy guitars, I am noticing the, the pace and the intensity of the tune more than anything, which, again, maybe relates to the way that, I listen to a lot of techno, a lot of punk rock. Punk rock often has a lot of lyrics with, political or socio-cultural critiques and so on. But even among bands I like, I don't always catch lines fully on a first listen, because it's like, damn, did you hear that bass line? Or like, damn, listen to that wicked guitar line. So yeah, there was a bit of that happening here. But obviously I look forward to any insights and interpretations Mikey or others will have. Do let me know. Once again, happy birthday, Mikey. And Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.